Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Road to OKC 2016. Well, this week has been a bit interesting in the sense that it's kind of been very up and down. I had some sort of bad news towards the end of, I guess, last week now, because I'm filming this on Wednesday and I'm not probably going to get it out till Thursday. So I apologise for that. The kind of trying to find the time to get video in has been a little bit difficult. This week, this Monday, just 2 days ago, I started my latest master's class, and that's quite work intensive. I'm also building up to football or soccer season with my girls team at the high school. So we're training every day after school doing conditioning, and then next week we're actually into 2-hour practices every night after school. So finding time to actually get these sort of videos done is going to be a challenge, but for me, and particularly after kind of what happened I had an issue at work today, and it really sort of made me question actually, why do I bother? And obviously, I've got to work, I've got to get money in to pay bills and stuff, but coming and sitting down and being able to do this video just really made me feel really kind of like it was an island of retreat. I could come to my hobby and relax and forget kind of almost the real world or the work world, and enjoy what I'm doing here and relax and because let's be honest, in modern society today, we so often kind of work to live, we live to work rather than working to live. So I think it's always important to get that perspective back in mind. But saying all that, I did find some time over the weekend to get a lot of painting done, which I'm really pleased about. And it was so nice after the last couple of days of last week being sort of very kind of emotionally tough, to just spend Saturday pretty much all of the morning, from about 8 in the morning till about lunchtime. I sat in my man cave in here, just painting figures, and that was so lovely, just to sit back and just paint and listen to podcasts and music and just really just relax. It was beautiful, really was. And I would encourage you, if you get that opportunity, take it. It's brilliant, especially if you love painting. I don't really love painting, but it's got to a stage now that it's so therapeutic that it really does help. So I probably got painted this weekend in that short space of time more than I'd got painted in any other week. I finished off weathering my German motorcycle and sidecar. I painted up my second squad of Belgians just here. I have based them slightly different than the first squad. The first squad have flowers on, the second squad don't. That's because both squads have Adrian helmets on, like so. And I wanted to be able to, so you can just see there the flowers, and that just tells you that that's one squad, and this is another. Very similar, it's the same figure, but without the flowers. Okay, so that will help me in gameplay to determine which squad is which, or which figures go with which squad if they get too close. So that's so I got those done and I got them all based up. Really pleased about that. I also got my first, I guess, let me think. That's I have my commander and radio man. That's my command team. I have my light mortar. That's one team, and I got my medic. So I got my first 3 units of my Desert Rats army painted up. I will briefly show them a little bit later on, but I'm going to spend actually another video altogether dedicated to those and Operation Sand Dune, which I'm doing with Andy Singleton and Sam Phillips. So I won't cover too much on that today in this video, but they will get a quick show. So I painted Saturday morning, got a lot done. I think I had 15 figures painted in all, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it takes me a while. And I also got another 11 Desert Rats, including Christopher Lee, the Christopher Lee figure, all primed up as well. So that was good. And then in the afternoon, I spent probably an hour and a half with my housemate and good friend Dan. and we set about doing a game of bolt action. Kind of, we play point defense. Basically based around a Belgian town which kind of sits near two bridges across a river and a ford further down with a road leading off to Paris. Kind of similar to what I planned for Oklahoma City, but scaled down and slightly smaller. And I didn't count out the points, but we had an equal number of order dice, and essentially units kind of matched up against the opposition. So it was fairly basic. And if you want to watch that, I've put out the battle report for that on my channel, and you can go and check that out. We got 7 turns in the end, and I can announce that my Belgians were in fact victorious. They only had one British armoured car with them, the Morris CS9, which you saw in the last update, and a section of British, because I hadn't painted my second one ready enough to be on the table by that point. So really it was a very strong Belgian force. I had my command figure, my machine gun team, my mortar team, my section here, and the T-15 tank there at the back, which you might be able to see. Move it to the front. So I had that force, and they fought a German force with a Panzer II, a motorcycle and sidecar, 2 infantry sections, 2 machine gun sections as well, and a command team, and they came out winners. To be fair, point defense is a tough game, I think, if you're the attacker, and the way it kind of played out, I was very lucky to, Dan split his forces, and I was very lucky to be able to pin one lot that was kind of isolated on the flank and really kind of bogged them down so they couldn't advance. And then the central force kind of was, when they came across the bridge, because I'd set my defense up pretty far back, they came over the bridge, and then I was able to attack them in that sort of bottlenecked area. They tried expanding out with very little success. They were more concentrating on actually kind of attacking and trying to kill off my units rather than necessarily heading for the objectives. And I found that with bolt action several times, is you get games where your opponent is more interested in actually trying to kill you off than actually going for the objective. Now, obviously, if you're playing maximum attrition, killing off the enemy is great, but with some of the other ones, the objective is actually more important, and there are other ways of getting the objective without necessarily destroying all your opponent's forces. So I thought it was really interesting. It was a great game, very enjoyable, quick paced, and we really kind of improved our knowledge of how vehicles move and how they fight. And also the mortar as well. We did make a slight mistake. I eventually hit Dan, I think it was on either turn 2 or turn 3, and what I thought at the time was perhaps once you'd hit the target, as long as it didn't move or the mortar didn't move, you would hit on something, as a standard. We didn't play that because I wasn't 100% sure of it, and I didn't feel that was fair. Speaking to Andy Singleton, he's told me, yes, once you've hit your target, as long as they don't move or you don't move, your mortar team, you're always hitting on a 2+ every time. So that probably would have had a few more hits later on in the game, but to be fair, it didn't really make any impact, huge impact on the game. The unit that I was attacking with my mortar was already fairly well pinned and really wasn't activating very much at all. So a lot learned in the game, and thoroughly enjoyable. We're really looking forward to playing that again. We're actually thinking as well playing a similar scenario, but with modern figures, having sort of Taliban and Delta Force and kind of doing something like that. We think that would be great fun, so we may do that in the future. But yeah, so Belgian wise, really pleased with how this army's coming on. I feel like I'm getting close to finishing it, which I really am. I have the first unit of the Police de Bonnet. I'll need to build them and base them. So they're a project. I probably will try and work on that this week. Hopefully getting them sprayed up maybe this weekend and maybe painted this weekend, who knows. I am going to do some desert rats this week, probably on Saturday, so that is also kind of a main kind of concentration for me, because Mr. Singleton has been painting a lot of figures and I need to catch up with him. So that's kind of where I'm headed. I'll probably try to get these built and at least based up and primed ideally, and then maybe it'll be next week that I paint them. Other things that I've got that we're going to look at in just a moment is the Belgian townhouse. I really didn't get as much done as I wanted, but yesterday and today I found some time between doing homework and work and housework to squeeze in a little bit more development on that. So let's check out the desert rats and the Belgian building, and then we'll talk about pledges for this week, and that'll be it. So we'll be back in just a moment with the Belgian house and some desert rats. See you in a moment. Okay, so we're back. So let's start off with the Belgian townhouse. I managed to get guttering put onto the roofs themselves. You can just about see that, I think. Yeah, bit of guttering there, and on the other side, just about. It was a little bit fiddly, and to be honest, got a little bit annoying as well. So that detaches from the roof, as was planned. And then what I got was the downpipes. Now I managed to use those straws, as you can see, painting them grey, and I think they look pretty good actually. I've got a little bit more to finish at the bottom, and I'm sort of debating what to do. I'm planning on getting some of the wall bases pavements, MDF cut out pavements, to go around the outside of the buildings, and I'm not sure whether either to create a little bit at the bottom of this building that sits on the side, like, which is kind of like a drain that you can imagine it dropping into, and just building that out of pink foam. Or the other option is waiting until I get the pavements and then allocating one particular pavement to go next to each specific building, and using some green stuff to make kind of like a little grated kind of drain down into an underground sewer, and putting that actually on the pavement, so that when it sits, the pavement sits next to it, the drain looks like it drops into the gutter, which is kind of where I'm leaning towards. I think that would look pretty good, and once it's painted up, I think it could look really good. So that's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. We'll wait and see. Once I've got the buildings done and I've got the pavements, then I can make a decision on that. One point that let's finish this first. So roof comes off, as we've seen. Top layer comes off, and I've just super glued that onto the side. That's all I've done. And then the second floor will come off as well. So the floors still come off, and I worked really hard to try line them up so that when they do go back together, they line up. I also started on the other side, so I've got the first piece of downpipe. The problem is, I decided I was going to wait until I had cut them to the right sizes before painting, but I wanted to paint them before I stuck them down. And so what I did was painted them and realised I needed somewhere to kind of, hold it while it was drying. So I got some blue tack and I stuck it on my desk, and then I got some toothpicks and I stuck those at angles so it kind of looks a bit like a hedgehog with really long spikes. And then I just slid the straws down onto it, and you might have seen one of my posts actually yesterday was that thing. So that's what it was. It was guttering. I've only got 3 on there at the moment, so I actually can only kind of paint 3 at a time. But luckily I've got 3 left, so that should work quite nicely. So yeah, so that's the guttering and the townhouse. And in fact, this is the front. Okay, so that's the Belgian townhouse. I've still got to put the curtains in. Unfortunately, it's a bit of a task. I'm sort of dreading. I don't really like, I don't know, dipping my hands into the kind of watered down PVA. It's just messy. It's just really messy and fiddly, and I don't know. It's one of those jobs I've really got to be in the mood, or just be like, right, I'm gonna get this done, go. I'm sure I'll find that at some point this week. But anyway, hopefully that will get all finished. My pledge is to finish off this prototype for next update. I also want to make some progress in the other buildings as well, so I'll hopefully try and get those done as well. So yeah, so that's where we're going with that. Desert rats then. Wonderful, wonderful. I am going to actually do a product review on the figures. You just see my officer here. I found the face quite hard to do. It's not as detailed, I would say, as a Warlord figure, or not as... The features aren't as pronounced. They're much subtler. So actually painting them is quite tricky. My favourite figure that I've done so far is the Radio Man, which I hope you'll agree is looking very good. This was the first time I used the Crack Earth paint. Quite impressed with it actually. It's come out really nicely. I do need to put some sand down around the bottom of the kind of step that the figure sits on, or stands on. When I stuck that onto the corner, the base, I thought that the Cracked Earth paint would cover up that step, but it hasn't quite. So I'm going to just put some PVA down and sprinkle some sand over it. I'll make maybe a little bit more on the bases. I was, I'm planning on using these for Singapore as well. So I don't think they look too out of place for Singapore. I think I'll get away with using these. Yeah, I'm pleased with how they've come out. The light mortar and the loader, I think have all come out pretty well. Cracked Earth looks good on those bases. And finally I did my medic figure, which if you remember was a conversion with some green stuff. And I think, hopefully you'll agree, that the armband has actually come out pretty well. I really do like the way it just stands out on his arm there. Yeah, just really pleased with it. He looks good. I chopped the pistol out of his hand, so he just looks like he's clenching his fist going that way. But I think it looks great. So yeah, all of them really pleased with. I've got another infantry section done up, plus I'm going to make my Christopher Lee figure probably an artillery spotter, because I get one for free, or a forward artillery observer. Get that for free, so I'll put him in there. I do believe he served in the desert, so that's quite good. So yeah, so as I say, pledges. My pledge is to get the Belgian section that I've got left built and based, as in putting the green stuff on over the base, and primed. Those are three things I think I can definitely get done. So that's the first thing. The second thing is to finish off the prototype, window, curtains and guttering. So that's my second pledge. I also really could do with getting all those desert rats, all 11 of them, painted up this week. So I will aim to get those done as well. It's a big ask, especially with the amount of work I've got on at the moment. But we can only but try. And I'd also like to give my buildings a go at actually sort of getting them on through the steps, because I'd like them all to be, at this point in a couple of weeks' time. And I think it's doable. It's just going to take a bit of work. And maybe one week I won't do figures. I'll just do buildings. So, for example, once I've done my last Belgian section, I need to put an order in to get more Belgians. I've got my final section to get, and I've got my anti-tank gun to get, and I think I was also going to take an anti-tank rifle team, which is only 2 guys, which is great. So, so those are the 3 set units that I need left for my Belgian army, and then they're completely done. The French, I've got all those, so I just now need to paint those up. And I need 1 more section of British, I believe, and then I'm done with those. So that will be all the armies done, all the early war armies done, and then I'll just need to work on the Germans. So I think while I'm waiting for the order for the Belgians to come in, I'll probably work on buildings that week. Maybe some Stuttgart as well, because I quite fancy getting it out and just doing a bit more on it. It's just a chilled out job, So we'll wait and see. Yeah, I'll probably end up getting some more Stuttgarts or 109s in the future anyway, because I hear in Jewels of the Sun there's a great scenario for the airfield, raiding an airfield, and I think some airplanes standing on the runway would look great. I can't remember who, it might have been Patch or one of those guys from Oz, or no, it wasn't. I tell you who it was. It was Down Order Sam from the Down Order podcast. He has built some planes up and some great looking terrain. So I think that's where I'd like to aim for in the future. Yeah, who knows, that could be a great game. So until next time, have a great week. Enjoy your hobbying. Really, use it as a time to relax. And I look forward to hearing your comments. As always, if you like this video, please like it, comment. I love hearing from you guys. Had some great comments this week. Even advice. I love people when they offer me advice, as long as it's, pleasant and polite. I don't really, it really helps out, because it's just things for me to think about and maybe even implement. So it's great. If you like this video and any of the others, please feel free to subscribe. I've made over 100 subscribers now. Next goal is probably 150, maybe 200. We'll see where we go from there. Who knows? Everybody starts small, so could be big one day. Anyway, have a great week. We'll see you soon.